Pre-calculus chapter P lesson 5. I think somebody's coming. Oh, there's a lot of people. They didn't see me, so we're good. Okay. Prerequisite chapter, pre-calculus, lesson 5. We're looking at ways to solve a quadratic. This is the last video on quadratic, using the quadratic formula to solve a quadratic. Okay, and this one is probably the one most students default to because it's pretty much the easiest, I guess you could say. You can use it for any quadratic except for one that doesn't have a bx term, because if you do that one, you get a 0. Sometimes that can cause some problems. So with that one, best to just go to extracting the square root. But the quadratic formula will work for all quadratic expressions. And the formula is this, and it's just something you have to memorize. The opposite of b, plus or minus the square root of the b term squared, minus 4 times ac over, all of that's over 2a. And it's real simple. All you have to do is making sure your quadratic expression is in standard form, meaning it's written as ax squared plus bx plus c. Then you just find the a value, the b value, the c value, substitute it in the expression, and solve it. Okay, so let me do an example that's already done for us, then I'll maybe do one more, and that should be good for you. So now here's the expression. Now notice it's not in standard form, so you'll want to do that first. If you just take 3, -6, and 5, then you're going to run into problems because it's not in standard form. So standard form means the 5 has to be moved on this side, so it should be 3x squared minus 6x minus 5 equals 0. Okay, that's standard form. It's equal to 0. Once it's there, then you can go ahead and identify your terms. So here it's in standard form. So the a term, remember the standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c. This is the a, this is the b, -6, the sign goes with it, and -5 is the c. I think I said that was the c, but that's the b. -6 is the b, and then -5 is the c. You then simply simplify, or substitute in and simplify. Here's the expression. So it's the opposite of b, which is -6, times the square root of b squared, minus 4 times the a times c, all of that over 2 times the a. And then you go ahead and simplify those values, and you end up with 1 plus or minus 2 over the square root of 6, 2 times the square root of 6, excuse me, over 3. All right, and we'll do some examples if you're not sure how we got that. It's just some arithmetic tricks you can do. So let me go ahead and do one more example here. And I'm going to have to go to a separate page. I'm afraid I won't have room. So I might have to try to memorize this. X squared minus 8x minus 15. X squared minus 8x minus 15. X squared minus 8x minus 15. X squared minus 8x. X squared minus 8x equals 15. Is that right? No, -15. I didn't think that. Okay, so solve this using quadratic formula. So first thing I need to do is put it in standard form. So x squared minus 8x plus 15 is equal to 0. I then want to identify my a, which is going to be 1. My b is going to be -8. And my c is 15. And then I go ahead and substitute it in my formula. So I'm going to write it out. The opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. All of that's over 2a. Okay, now something that you should do, because it will really help you, especially right in here, and this is where you'll make your mistake, and that is if you go through and write the expression, and for every letter write a parentheses for each variable, then go back and substitute it in, you'll avoid the mistake that most of you are going to make right here, because you're going to write this. I'll show you what you're going to do. -8 squared minus 4ac, 4 times blah blah blah, whatever it is, and then you're going to do -8 squared like you see it in your calculator, and that's going to give you -64, and that's going to be wrong. okay? Because it's not the opposite of 8 squared like you have it written. It's actually the number negative 8 squared is going to be positive. So a way to protect yourself or keep yourself from making that problem or making that error, excuse me, is to go through and write parentheses for every letter and then go back and put the numbers in, and that way you'll have less chance of losing a negative sign. So I'm going through. Hey, someone just texted me. It's probably my wife, wondering where I am, but I'm here at work, helping you, helping me, helping us all. Okay? I'll get that in a minute. So I go through and I write this first, and then I go back and put these values in, because that way it helps and keeps me from making mistakes that I might make that are really going to cause me problems later on, and I don't want to make it. Okay? And that doesn't take that much time to do that, and you can really save yourself some headaches. So the opposite of negative 8 is 8 plus or minus the square root of negative 8 squared is positive 64. And then negative 4 times 1 is negative 4, and then negative 4 times 15 is negative 60, or minus 60. All of that's over 2. And then, let me go this way. You have 8 plus or minus then the square root of 4. All of that's over 2, 64 minus 60, which is then 8 plus or minus 2 over 2. So that's 8 plus 2 over 2, or 8 minus 2 over 2. So this is 10 over 2, which is 5, and this is 8 minus 6 over 2, which is 3. So 5 and 3 would be the two solutions to my problem, solving by using the quadratic formula, 5 or 3. Okay, so that's the quadratic formula. Make sure it's in standard form. Use parentheses to help make sure that you don't lose that negative sign, and then just simplify using your arithmetic skills.